here so that you can attack him through the wall and he won't be able to actually hit you. Once he's done, the key appears, work your way around the black blob that appears, and you're gonna have to take at least one hit of damage because there's no way to avoid walking through that black area that's right before the door. We're back outside in stage number 6, and we have some more of the ogre enemies that we've seen multiple times. By grabbing that last item, I got the cape upgrade to my health, and now I have all the possible health that you can have in the game. This level also introduces another one of those flying type enemies, just like the bats and the fairies. Like we saw earlier, there's always one tree that's going to look a little bit different, and that's the one you're going to have to use in order to get to the inner rings of this stage. Once you finally make it to the inner ring, go through the last tree, grab the key, and then go through the tree at the top. For stage 17, one of the easy ways to get through it is to use the Thunder Rod first to get rid of those one type of enemies, and then if you have another one of those wands that defeats all normal enemies, use that to defeat all the flying ones coming at you. You should only have a couple enemies left after you use both of those rods, in which case work your way on the right side in order to grab the key, and then you're going to have to go all the way back around to get to the other tree. Stage 18 takes place inside of a graveyard, and there's a lot of these zombie enemies that just fall apart like the skeletons that we've seen earlier on. They can't be destroyed, so just let them walk around the bottom and destroy the blobs that keep appearing on the top portion of the screen. Once all the blobs go down, that's when your key's gonna appear, so just try to get past the other monsters, grab the key, and get through. They don't stay down for long, so if you're not quick, they'll end up running into you when you're working your way back over them. This level can be a pain because the enemies are a little spread out and there's a few things blocking your path, so you have to work around those in order to get to all the skeletons and blobs that are throughout the stage. Once you've finally defeated enough of them, you can go grab the key and finally head towards the exit. In this stage, we have another new flying type enemy. We have flying pink skulls that come at you from all different directions. If you have one of those wands, use it now in order to defeat the skeletons that are on the opposite end, and you just go ahead and grab the key and then work your way down towards the exit. Be prepared though, because stage 21, it's time for another boss fight. There's lots of bats going to be flying at you, and this can be a real pain, and if you have one of the wands to defeat them, use that to just wipe them off, and then work on the other set of them. I usually like to save 2 of those wands just to destroy those bats, so I really don't have to put up with them. Then equip your fire rod and attack the vampire through the wall, just what we did with the first boss, in order to quickly defeat him, and you can go grab the key. If you want to, though, you can go down near his coffin, walk up in front of it, and you'll get full health, just like some of the other cross-platforms that we've seen earlier in the game. This stage has a lot more of those flying bats, and they're just as annoying as they've always been. If you have a wand, use it. If not, try to get to the right spot so that you can lure the bats out towards you and be able to hit them while they're moving back and forth. After you defeat them all, the key appears. In this stage, however, it's another one of those levels with lots of false staircases. Every other one that you find that's not the correct staircase causes another bat to spawn, which can be a real pain. You may have 3 or 4 bats that end up coming out until you finally find the right staircase. It always changes, so you're never sure which one it's gonna be. Sometimes you may have to search through all the staircases like I did this time in order to find the right one. Stage number 23 is nothing new or complex, just a lot of the stationary blobs laying around that you have to hunt down through the maze in order to find them all. The only other thing of real note is that we do have some of those zombie enemies that fall apart when you shoot them in the corner of the screen, but they really aren't too much of a threat to us. Destroy this wall in order for a shortcut. In order to get right to the exit, you may have to shoot a couple of the zombies when making through. Now this is where the fun begins. We're on the final stretch of stages, so we have a couple new enemies that we're going to see in this stage. These big green giant guys that hurt you a lot when they walk into you, and they take a lot of hits to destroy. Stay a good distance away from them and keep firing at them in order to finally destroy them. However, your real threat, and the threat for the rest of the game, is the ninja enemies. We only have to contend with one right this second, but we're going to have some more later on in this stage, as well as that we have lots of others that we're going to have to fight throughout the rest of the game. Every false staircase you find in this area causes another ninja to spawn. Starting in stage number 24, a new item also becomes available from random pickups, and that is a music box, which puts all the ninjas on screen at a time to sleep for a few seconds, enabling you to get some free hits on them. Those items are going to be crucial for some later stages to get through them without losing lives. Stage number 25 is a Gauntlet of Ninjas. They just start storming you as soon as you enter the room. So moving around quickly and getting to the right spots to destroy them is going to be crucial. Hopefully from one of the first ones you defeat, they drop one of those music boxes so you can use that in order to put a lot of them to sleep and then slowly take them out. You don't have a long time though while they'll be asleep because they will pop back up, but it should be enough time in order to defeat them before they spring back to their feet and start attacking you again. In this stage, we have some worms that are at the bottom part. They're not too bad to contend with. Then you gotta go through this area in order to break the bricks in order to get to this part, and you'll see that mini-boss that we saw in stage number 15 has returned. I want to keep my wand at this point since I only have one of the fire rods and I'm gonna need it later on. So for right now, I'm just gonna keep luring the boss down and attacking them with my bow. So you may want to use a fire rod if you have 2 of them, but if not and you only have 1, save it for some of the later levels. Once he's finally defeated, destroy the squid in your way, grab the key, and now it's time for the final castle of the game. In stage number 27, we have a new type of blob enemy, just like the other blobs that we've seen, as well as we have green ninjas that start coming after you. These ones aren't nearly as bad as the other ones, but they can still damage you a lot. Also introduced are these Cyclops enemies, which work like those fire guys we saw earlier on in the game. If you can, attack the ninjas while they're jumping through walls because you can still damage them, and they'll just keep going back and forth and won't be able to hit you. Stage number 28 begins with a lot of blue ninjas that are going to be working their way towards you. Thankfully, they can't jump through walls. So lure them towards you, and then if you have one of those boxes, use it to put them to sleep and take out a large chunk of them at a time. Be careful as you're making your way around, because after you defeat a certain amount of enemies, a gray ninja will appear, and he takes a lot of hits to kill, and he's really fast. So be prepared for him, and if you have a fire rod, you may want to use it here to easily defeat him, and then use that fire rod to take out all the other ninjas on the inner levels.